I hope all of us understand the nature of the ISWA. Melissa, now your turn. Can you tell us more about the work of WOMRAS?
Thank you for inviting me to be here to share about what WOMRAS is doing. I'm also happy to see David here in Singapore as well. Actually, I'm sick. I'm actually on MC. But in order not to disappoint David and Mr. Ong, I decided to come here. So I'm actually on medication. Some of the questions I don't know, a bit blur, because I'm very drowsy. Okay, coming back to what WOMRAS do, it's pretty much the same as ISWA. We organize mission trips training. We share best practices, and what else do we do? Mission trips? Did I say that?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay, and WOMRAS actually works with our industrial members, government agencies, and both local and overseas to promote the business and address the concern of waste management in the recycling sector. And why am I here being a lady with all the men? As Mr. Ong has rightfully pointed out, I'm actually running my family-owned business. My business is about 30, how old am I? 30 over years old company. I have been playing with rubbish when I'm the age of 5. So from 5 years old to the mid-30s, I can see the transform of waste. For example, now our garbage bag is a black garbage bag, it's very small. In the past, maybe in the 1970s, 1980s, the garbage bags are very big, very thick, of very good quality material. But now it's not so good. Yeah. Yes. So I've been playing with the waste for many years. And I enjoy working with the men here.
Okay, now we have a better understanding of how they work, and now this is the real questions. First question is this. I don't know how many of you actually understand the Europe situations, let alone the so-called waste management situations in Europe. For me, I do travel to Europe. I was in UK visiting companies like Lotus, not a car racing company, the Lotus is an IT company. I was in Baden-Württemberg, also in Munich, visiting the Mercedes-Benz, and the impression I had when I was studying in INSEAD in Fontainebleau, France. Seriously, I could not avoid stepping on dog poops if I do not look at on the ground. So that is the impression I had on Europe. But therefore, I went and dug out some of the background statistics of Europe. In fact, I have read the State of the Environment Report 2015. I mean, no, there's 2011, maybe it's a bit outdated. So that's why I have that each of the 500 million people living in the EU actually throw away half a ton of household rubbish a year. And then on top of it, they have manufacturing waste about 360 million tons, and they have construction waste of 900 million tons. So all in all, add up together, actually Europe's produce 3 billion tons of waste each year. That's huge, right? Compared to Singapore, we have 7 million tons. But again, if you read more about the EU stage of waste management, we understand that they have more or less moved their waste management to a higher hierarchy. They started with landfill, then they moved up to energy recovery, and up again to recycling, and then to reuse. Now, actually, they're talking about waste prevention, similar to the Singapore's concept about zero waste. And the long-term goal of Europe is actually to avoid generating waste. And if not avoidable, they use the unavoidable waste as a resource. So, David, can you share with us the situation now? Like the report I read maybe a few years old, the current situations in Europe, and how EU actually managed to move the waste hierarchy to a higher level. What are the, in terms of policy, the directives, and other initiatives they put in place to achieve that? And also, how close do you think that Europe is now reaching the resource-efficient society? Are they able to decouple the consumption patterns, resource consumption from the economic growth? So it's a loaded question, so I think that's where we get asked, all of us, a better understanding of the Europe situation.
Well, I hope you all have a lot of patience because there's a lot of questions and a lot of very long answers. And I'd like to start with the last question about decoupling. If we look at the packaging industry, the packaging industry was obliged many years ago to introduce EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility programs, I'm assuming you all know what that means. And EPR schemes hit the packaging industry very hard because, of course, for every kilo of packaging they put on the market, they have to pay a fee to go and collect it. And so they started to redesign packaging. And if we take one example of Austria, where the ISVA headquarters is in Vienna, let me try to get this statistic right, I have it on a slide, but since the year 2000, Austria has seen 20% economic growth in the last 15 years and 25% reduction in packaging waste. Okay? So decoupling has happened. It has happened because it's forced the packaging industry into redesigning and lightening its packaging because it pays less by doing so. And I'm sure if we that particular statistic on Austria has remained in my head, but I'm sure if we look around many other countries, particularly in Western Europe, we can see a decoupling of certain waste streams from economic growth. But if we look overall at Europe, we certainly see over the last 5 years, 6 years since the economic crisis 2008 hit, we have seen a leveling out or even a slow decline in the total amount of waste produced. Now, it's very difficult to know, because we're all waste experts, it's actually very difficult to measure how much of this is prevention and how much of this is people getting poorer and spending less and consuming less. How much of it is also redesigning packaging? How much of it is also, for example, the movement from one product to another? When you have this, you no longer buy a newspaper every day. And so paper sales have declined rapidly, some 20 to 30% since 2000. And that all feeds in to the statistics which say we are using the same amount or less waste. So there's a whole series of complex answers there about decoupling. Now, is decoupling because there's been waste prevention in paper? No. Decoupling in paper has happened because there's electronic readers. No one could have foreseen that, predicted that 15 years ago. Okay? Let's go back to the first question. What is happening in Europe? Well, Europe is many different countries. It's 27 countries today. And so what is happening in Southeast and Southern Europe is completely different to what is happening in Northern and Northeast and Northwestern Europe. What is happening in Scandinavia and the advanced countries like Holland and Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, Austria, is a completely different scene to what is happening in Romania or Bulgaria or Greece, of course. We all know about Greece. Italy is divided into two, a rich north, a very poor south, Spain, Portugal, and so on.
Actually, I read the State of the Environment report in Europe. Even when they set the recycling rate about 50%, only 4 countries in Europe achieved that, and the rest still below. So I think we heard from David about the complexities of the situation they face in Europe. Different countries, different stations. And when Singapore said that we're going to set 70% of recycling rate, just now I was asking David whether it's reasonable, can it be higher, should it be lower? And I think that just now provides some answers to that kind of questions that we had.